This is the frontal lobe, and these are the pathways in the frontal lobe on the left. That's the frontal lobe on the right over there. Here's the temporal lobe down here. This is the parietal lobe up here and the occipital lobe back there. And look at this. We can see the network of the brain.
From car accidents, war, to falls, more than 1 million Americans suffer a traumatic brain injury every year, often a debilitating lifetime sentence that comes from an injury that in most cases happens in just minutes.
I ran out in the road, and then next thing I know, I woke up in Jackson, Mississippi hospital.
Chris Whittington's recovery is part of the new hope. Until recently, doctors believed that our brains were basically hardwired. They thought rehabilitation could help a person compensate but not repair the brain. But now, with new technology and discoveries in neuroplasticity, doctors believe that traumatic brain injury, as we've known it, can be a condition of the past.
So neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change. And for the first time ever, we understand just how dramatic that ability can be. But what we've always believed was that our brains don't change very much once we become adults. So when they get damaged in some way, they really can't repair themselves. We now understand that that's incorrect, dramatically incorrect. So it's really changing the entire field of brain injury recovery and giving hope where really there had been very little hope before.
Chris was hit by a car when he was 13. He had to relearn how to walk. Even going to the bathroom had to be taught again.
Oh yeah, this whole side of my face has been crushed.
At 19, Chris began therapy at Core Healthcare.
Certainly he was struggling when he came to us with poor memory, very short attention span, not able to focus.
Therapists at Core Healthcare began applying what they were learning about neuroplasticity to Chris's therapy. After a little over a year of being at Core Healthcare, Chris graduated from high school, far exceeding the expectations of a patient with his injury.
I'm just so proud of myself, it's unreal.
Our thought was that there is not a lot of neurons are not going to grow back and regenerate, and so when a person stopped making progress, you then felt like, okay, this is the most they're going to achieve from the work on the rehab I'm doing with them, and that thinking has changed to, with neuroplasticity, that there's just more of a hope as a therapist that you're going to keep working with the person, and that it may take 1,000 more times of repeating something with them, but that there's more of a hope that it's going to get better for them. They're going to make progress.
Therapists at Core Healthcare are encouraged by Chris's progress, but admit that it was sort of a guessing game, using what they know about neuroplasticity, but not being able to take it to the next level by measuring it.
Up to this point, it's basically been a shotgun approach. So we just do things that intuitively seem like they might work without actually looking at what is the brain doing in this injured brain.
Dr. Aaron Bigler has been studying neuroimaging and brain disorders for more than 30 years. He says now could be the most exciting time in brain injury research. New advances in imaging can produce complex 3D color images of the brain in minutes, offering for the first time a tangible look at how the brain responds to therapy.
So we can literally view the brain being active, processing, how it's connecting or not connecting.
Traditional MRIs only offered an anatomical or structural view of the brain. The recent functional MRI can not only observe structures, but also show which structures are involved in specific functions. It also allows researchers to see when new pathways are made or established.
We can look at the pathways. We can see the strength of those pathways, how they're better connecting. We can look at the parts of the brain that are participating in learning that new motor skill.
Researchers would also use diffusion tensor imaging, which in minutes produces a look at the complex network of nerve fibers in the brain. In addition to measuring which therapies are working most efficiently, the new imaging can also show how drugs are affecting the brain, a visual picture of which parts are being activated.
Having their brains physically recover, being able to monitor that in response to what we're doing with them, will lead us to horizons that we've never been able to even see before.
Once the connection between cortical regeneration and restoration function are clearly seen in the brain, it's believed that therapies can be designed that will accelerate neuroplasticity. That means possibly creating new neurons, regenerating important pathways, and reconfiguring neural networks.
And as a professor and as a scientist, you want to do this grounded in the proper research so that we do the right things and we come to the right conclusions and we develop the right types of treatment programs for patients and families that have had some type of acquired brain injury.
The chance to discover unprecedented science-based treatments can happen by combining Professor Bigler's brain imaging expertise and Core Healthcare's more than 25 years of rehabilitating brain injury patients.
Getting that funding allows us to take this first critical step down the path of changing the face of rehabilitation in the United States. We want to do better than we've done, and this is the opportunity to do that.
Chris benefited from Core Healthcare's neuroplasticity knowledge, but had he had a chance at scientific-based therapies, his brain may have recovered even more, as the goal is to move beyond teaching the brain to compensate. The goal is to regain brain function.
I mean, it's as miraculous as it can get, because now we're giving people the hope that they can recover functions that they need desperately to live in the world, not just independently, but to get quality of life out of the world.
Funding the research not only offers an opportunity to heal traumatic brain injuries, it's an opportunity to remove the fear of dementia, to treat mental illness. It's a chance to revolutionize treatment of the brain.